Hi everyone, happy Thursday. Welcome to our weekly power hour. It's been a couple of weeks. I had a family emergency last week, which I rarely cancel. I know it was really not a good situation. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I know there's some people that trickle in late, but I am trying to catch up on everything that went on last week. So I have a meeting from one of my postcards this afternoon. All right. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions, or better yet, post them in the chat. I do have the chat open, so you can do that. If you don't want to ask where everyone can see, you can send me a private message here in the chat, and I would be happy to answer it. I love questions. Okay, I think I know Ed's in Oklahoma. Sally, I want to say Wisconsin. You're on mute, so am I right? Okay, thumbs up, good. And Eric, okay, I feel like we've spoken before. I think you're in Michigan.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, back where I grew up.
Yeah, like Grand Rapids Metro.
Okay, yeah.
I'm from southwestern Michigan.
Yep, I grew up in Stevensville, so fun times. New faces and Ed. I know Ed's here like every single Thursday, so thank you for the support. I've been handling these distress situations since 2007. So I have a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience with all types of situations. So today I really wanted to give you 4 secrets of mine. Absolutely has worked in my business. It's really like an unconventional approach. Mostly what I do is very unconventional. And so I do want to share some of that with you. Hopefully you can take these tips, these tricks. And of course, if you have any questions, please let me know. So this is what I always use like kind of some hidden terms to get everyone excited. So these 4 things today, simple stuff. So probably won't take up a ton of your time. So again, if you have questions about this particular weekly power hour, or I know that we weren't in session last week, but if you have one from a previous week or a question you saw in the group, feel free to let us know, okay? All right, I'm gonna go to this. All right. So the 2-letter power move, it is no. I love the word no. And this may sound silly to you, but it's not. I talk to a ton of agents in groups, in sessions, and they are all over the place and they don't know where to start. They have a FOMO, fear of missing out of like everything. And so years ago, I'm going through a lot. I had babies and my husband was trying to run a business. And so for me, the power of saying no really helped me in this niche of distress sales. Now, maybe you're in a different niche and you think about it, and maybe no is not going to help you. But for me, it's a no a lot of times. Like I do not go and mingle, with a ton of different realtors. I strictly am focused on my family. So my family's first. I don't want to miss any events. I volunteer at theater several hours a week. And I'm still running this successful business because I say no. And so I'm only accepting opportunities that are truly going to benefit my business. So I have like a set schedule every single week. I have times when I call my leads. I have times when I have my self-care. I have my volunteer hours at the school. And then I have certain days and times where I take appointments. And I guarantee you, families that are in a distress situation will absolutely work around your schedule. For example, I have a lady that I'm meeting this afternoon. She called, she received our text message. She also received our postcard. She has an auction date, December 19th. We have plenty of time to get an offer, get it sold. If we have to, we'll go to court, but it works in my schedule. So I have to be at the school at 3 to start my volunteering at theater, and it works. Okay. I think that's coming up. So I'll hold that thought. So for me, I really maintain that focus and I try to keep all of the external noise out. Um, and I avoid the burnout. Years ago, I was burnt out at everything. I was stressed. And guess what? When mom is stressed, it trickles down to the family. And yeah, so I've learned to say no. If it's not going to work in my business, then it's 100% no. It's a hard no for me. Um, Hopefully you've learned that too. If not, maybe you should try. All right, number 2. What is the hidden gold in troubled waters? That would be the foreclosure data. So look, everyone's like, yeah, I want to work in the foreclosure niche. Okay. Well, like in my coaching community, we're live twice a week. And so I just got off that call before this one. And we had an agent, not in our community, but she listed this house and has no clue what's going on with the niche or I'm sorry, the foreclosure and everything that's going on. That is being selfish. If you don't understand the process of your state and how they process the foreclosure, or how to navigate through with these homeowners, you should not be taking on these deals at all. It only is going to get the sellers in a pickle. So you really should understand the foreclosure data in your area. So like, for example, Eric's in Michigan. So I know that Michigan processes their foreclosures very different than here in the state of Illinois. There's not that many pre-foreclosures because it goes through the process. So Eric would understand that, okay, I probably don't have time to drip on pre-foreclosures, but I'm going to market heavily to the families that have an auction because in his area, there's a lot more auctions than there are pre-foreclosures. Here in the state of Illinois, it goes through the court process. It is lengthy. I have a short sale right now where the homeowner hasn't made a payment in 5 years. 5 years. And it's slow. So I could not only drip on families, and we do have a pre-foreclosure, like a series, 8 letters, educating them. Okay, so I would recommend here in Illinois to do the foreclosure or the pre-foreclosure drip plan because there are a lot of pre-foreclosures, but there's also a lot of auctions. So every single week, my team is sending out postcards and letters for families that are in an auction. And we also have a text campaign. So it's really, really important if you want to take on this niche to understand, take the time to understand your data in your area. If you're just sending out letters, it's not going to work. Like you have to have a specific approach. Pre-foreclosure should have a specific approach. Auction date should have a specific approach. Bankruptcy would have something different. That's really going to help you have an edge in your market. Okay. Obviously, you have to learn all that stuff. It's good to surround yourself with a community that understands this. Probably your managing broker is not going to understand foreclosures fully. Maybe have that conversation with them, but I feel like a lot of people try to steer them away from it. I would be happy if we have some time at the end to log into my system and look at the foreclosure data in your particular area. So if that's something you are interested in, you can post your state as well as like give me, 2 or 3 different counties, and we can take a look at pre-foreclosure as well as auction. Because I know like Eric's in Michigan, I know Michigan probably has 0 or maybe a handful of pre-foreclosures, but he's going to have a lot more auctions because it does not have to go through the court system in Michigan. Okay.
I had a quick question on that.
Sure.
So I'm using RPR. I mean, I looked into your system that you're using, and they're showing a lot of pre-foreclosures, again, because my state's different, but it's still showing pre-foreclosures there.
Well, let's take a look if you want to. I don't remember which.
We can after.
Yeah, which counties Grand Rapids are in. I just remember Berrien and Cass and all that. So if you want to post that, that would be great, and we'll take a look. I don't love RPR. Look, RPR it's great. It's a free system. We do have some members using that, but it takes forever to actually pull the data. And so I'm a big believer in separating all of that data. And so, you know, I try to give all of the tools that have got me to where I'm at today. And one of those tools is Property Radar. And so inside of all of our trainings, we teach you how to separate that data, when to pull that data, how to analyze it, and, you know, figuring out if that's a good lead to send a letter to. But yeah, I would love to look into your data a little bit more. All right, number 3. So for me, I don't work Sundays. I really am striving to help agents have a more balanced work-life balance. Okay. We as independent contractors, we don't have to work 24/7. So I was on the call a couple days ago with a few ladies, and they were like, hey, is the niche of distress sales doable when I got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old and I want to work 9 to 1 Monday through Friday and then my weekends are open? Yes, it is. But you have to make sure you have good time management skills to get through that. But I did it. I did it. My kids now are 13 and a half and 10. So you absolutely can do it. You just have to, again, kind of go back to the no. So I don't work Sundays. I don't do open houses. Like in the world of distress sales, when you tell someone that you're not going to do an open house, the lady that I'm meeting with this afternoon, she cried. So you may be thinking, Heather, yep, I get all my leads from open houses. Great, continue to do them. But for me and the niche that I'm in, I don't work Sundays, and that includes no open houses. So I really like church. I go to church and it's family time and football. Okay. So I really want to ensure that, you know, my work-life balance is good. And so everyone always asks me, what's my schedule? So my kids are in school. I work 8 to 3 Monday through Friday. Okay. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, I am at theater from 3 to 6. So that's additional 6 hours. I will take a Saturday morning appointment. I do have clients that do work. And so I rather take a Saturday morning than an evening. Evenings are just too tough with theater and dinner and homework and all that. So, and then Sunday is just an absolute no for me. All right. And then the final one, I don't use for sale signs. I actually don't even have them. I used to many years ago, but let me give you an example. The lady that I'm meeting with today, I've spent the last 6 days speaking to her and really coming up with a game plan. I'm a big believer in providing as much information to her over the phone and guiding her through this situation and coming up with a workable game plan before I go to her property. I don't want to go there more than once. And so I train and I teach on how to get all of that information up front, go to the property one time. So I'm going there this afternoon. I have all of the paperwork ready. She's going to sign it and it's going to go up tomorrow. And she said, hey, do you have to use a for sale sign? No. You know, when someone is in foreclosure, yes, it is public record, but I do feel like it's our job to try to keep it as private as possible. They're going through a lot of different scenarios. Okay. And so I try to keep it confidential. Like, look, the for sale sign may get you some leads or whatever, but just learn to market online. Like I do a lot online. I get a lot of calls from my online stuff. So yeah, she was in tears when I told her that. So just something to think about. But I don't use a for sale sign. So those are my 4 things. Now let's take a look at some of the data, and then I can talk about the community. All right, so let's see. Kent and Ottawa. Yeah, that's right. If anyone else wants to know their data, I can explain it to you. If you're looking to get into this niche and you're like, yeah, I have no clue what's going on? Look, there's people facing foreclosure all over the country. It's just the word short sale isn't as popular anymore because a lot of families can sell as an equity sale. So like the lady that I'm meeting with this afternoon, she has about 100,000 in equity, even though she's at the very end of the foreclosure process and owes $7,800 to the HOA. So it's still a distressed situation, a lot of moving parts. So my guess is there's probably no pre-foreclosures, but let's just take a look, Eric. All right, let's look at pre-foreclosures first. Now, just to recap, Michigan does not have to go through the court system, okay? So when someone stops making their payments, it does go through the process a lot quicker than a state like where I'm at, Illinois. All right, so there's 12 pre-foreclosures. So I said, okay, maybe there's 0 or a few. So there's 12. Now those 12 probably will move to an auction status fairly quickly, depending. Maybe they're in bankruptcy, maybe they're working on a loan mod, who knows? You can dive in a little bit deeper with the actual, you can log in here, you can see if they filed for bankruptcy, if it's a 7 or a 13, if it's open or dismissed or discharged, all that. So that's kind of fun to understand that data as well. But let's take a look at the auctions. Those are always a lot more in Michigan. So 198. So 198 families right now in those 2 counties have auctions. So will you have to send a letter every single week to all 198? No. Right now, our weekly average here where I'm at, and I mark it to a couple different counties as well, is about 100 letters a week. So you're probably going to be above that mark, Eric. But it's about, for me, 100, and I always get at least a call a week or a text from our text campaign. Am I able to help all of them? No, a lot of them I have to put on a follow-up plan because they may be trying a loan mod, or they're ready to go. You just never know. Do you have questions on that?
So this one on Property Radar you did, those are active foreclosures. Like, I'm assuming those would be, they got the sheriff's sale basically, like they're in process basically.
Yes. So
Okay.
auction date
So like,
means like they're at the end of the process and they have a date. But
yeah, so they have a sheriff's sale date.
Correct. So sometimes, let's just take a look at this one. Sometimes the date has passed. Hold on. So like, for example, look, this one has passed. Okay, Eric, it's June 13th. So why hasn't it updated? Well, it will, but it looks like, so then you'd have to look up here. So sheriff's certificate. So this,
626.
Yeah, so this basically, it did go, it looks like to me this went to foreclosure. Okay.
See, 165 if I looked up that property.
What?
I said the foreclosure amount was 165,750.
Yes, correct. So obviously our goal is to get in front of these homeowners and educate them because there's so much bad information out there prior to them going to sheriff's sale or auction, whatever you call it. But data is not going to lie as far as yeah, they're in a foreclosure situation, but sometimes it doesn't update as far as like the date. But if you see, okay, this makes sense because the date was June 13th and then the sheriff got a certificate June 2026. So
what is that published bid? 132.
That's what it started at, I guess. Published, that's what that would be like a starting amount, but it doesn't, I don't think anyone bought it at auction. So there's always a starting amount.
What the lender wants. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty really familiar. I went through the crisis and everything. So I'm pretty familiar with foreclosures. It's just trying to market them more and get into them and stop dealing with these overpriced homes
Yeah,
for
I mean,
people.
it's, I, I don't, I don't like when people come into my coaching program and just rush through like courses and yep, I got to get letters out tomorrow. I need a lead. Like it's more than just that. It's like the stuff that I'm putting into these courses, like it's such valuable information that's going to help your business on the road. So you're saying like, I need to get in front of these people. Well, we've already done that for you. Like we have, these postcards. So I did a letter for 13 years every single week. That's how I was getting all of my leads. It was my number 2 lead source. My number 1 is attorneys. So, but that letter was highly successful prior to the pandemic. It was still successful after the pandemic, but I decided to start a new approach come April. So from April to August, that is what I tested the postcard and the new text campaign. And then I released it in August. So, I mean, yeah, if that's what you're looking for, then
Yeah, I'm looking for something like what you have and get into your system and everything. And so I'm not spending so much time with clients and everything. And I do like helping people with this because you just find, I mean, I've dealt with short sales, I've dealt with foreclosures, I've dealt with everything. And it seems like I like this niche. I've always kind of done it. It's just kind of just looking for some more systems to simplify my process too.
yeah, so I'm like super organized. So everyone that comes in, they appreciate, and I start from like the very beginning. Actually, I'll just talk about. So let me just tell you what the community is all about. I basically have 2 systems. We have a Facebook community. Hold on. So here's the Facebook community. So like, for example, there's Monique, she's fairly new. Well, she's sending out letters and it just baffles her that people aren't connecting prior to this auction. I was like, yep, oh, it's going to happen. And then Danielle's has had two calls this week regarding her postcard. So she's posted about that. This is like where the community and the collaboration comes in. I know that you've done the short sales and stuff, Eric, but it's still great with different scenarios, especially in this weird market, to be able to bounce ideas
Yeah.
off of everyone. So that's what this is. And so we are live twice a week. Right now we're in the middle of a Facebook group series training. That is basically like, how have I gotten my leads over the years from having a group? Again, takes time. All of my stuff does take time. You do it now and it will be so beneficial to you in the future. And then next week we're starting the game planning series. So like, how are my systems keeping my business running and organized and consistent on a monthly basis? So when tax season comes, it's not chaos. So there's that. So the monthly membership is 75 bucks, and that includes the twice weekly training. We have like about 3 years worth of past trainings. And then when you come on after that, then you have the option of all of these different courses. So these are the ones that are coming. We do have one that's being released in December, but it is a secret. So I'm testing things right now for that and working with Property Radar on some things. But this is what's available right now. And so, for example, Eric, I would not recommend you get the pre-foreclosure series letter leads. I don't think that's going to help you at all because you have more auction leads. Okay. So this is the brand new one. This is what most everyone is currently using. So I would highly recommend this one, and I'll show it to you. If you can, you could every other week send a postcard, then either the short sale letter or the equity sale letter. You could do that. These ones are all resources to help you build attorney relationships, which is something that you need to have, but it's not something you need right now. So I'll show you the postcard one. And then if anyone else wants to see the data in their area, happy to look at that or answer any other questions that you may have. Okay, so this is just one. So each course is going to take you from the very beginning to basically the end. My biggest advice is don't skip lessons. Everything's in order and for a reason. So this will help you set up the leads and creating your ADL list inside of Property Radar. We do have a dedicated sign specialist that can come on and help you if needed. Going over the postcard, and we have a great printing company here that you can get discounts with. Again, we provide all the tools. You don't have to use them. If you have a local printer, great. We do use a QR code for the back of the envelope. So I give you script options for that, even though I don't love scripts. I think they're okay for like this. All my supplies, and then we go through like, this is a part of the system, okay? Consistency and organization. Once you get this in place, it's going to be, your life is going to be like, and you'll have all this other time to go and meet with attorneys, do community events, and your phone will just start to ring. Now, my transaction coordinator takes on a lot of this now. I did do it at the beginning, but when to pull the data, how to analyze it, how to input it into the Google spreadsheet, how to include proof of that auction, everything you need to know about the text campaign. Every single week, the document gets updated on what we send out. And then you're going to start to get calls. Again, I know some of you understand the short sales, but it may have been a long time. So we're here to help you. And assisting with a game plan, how to postpone those auctions. Pre-listing prep, listing appointment, and listing. So we've created checklists. We have templates for every single part of the process. Then we go over the short sale offer, reviewing title and the HUD and all that. Short sale packet. So I'm getting a lot of questions like, hey, how's the commission working? So I'm getting ready to get a Freddie Mac deal approved right now. It doesn't appear like there's any changes for commission. I will be letting my community know exactly, but it looks like they're paying me 3.5% and the buyer's agent 2.5%. I also have a private deal that's getting ready to be approved. Same thing with that one. Communication, BPO and appraisal, the short sale approval letter, and then actually closing the short sale. And then some just additional resources that could help you. So there's really, if you go through step by step, there's really no reason why you can't be successful and get your systems in place. And if you think I'm missing something, I would love to know so I can add it. Yeah. All right. Any other questions, or anyone else want to know the data in their area? Looks like just you, Eric. Okay. I'm going to put my email in here if you have additional questions, or if you're like, yeah, I'd love to join. So the other thing is, like, when you do come on board, you'll schedule a one-on-one with me to really kind of review your data. I know we did that a little bit with you, Eric, but I obviously don't want people getting into a course if it's not going to work in their area. We want to help families, and we want to get in front of them as soon as we can. So like I said, for Eric, I would not recommend the pre-foreclosure one. If you're in an area like me, yeah, I probably would recommend that. But we do dig in a little bit deeper with your area and what course is in a game plan for you. All right, so we'll be live next Thursday, and then 2 weeks from now is Halloween. We always have people over, so I'm going to take the day to get things ready, so we won't be in session that day. Otherwise, all of November, except obviously Thanksgiving. And then our last one of the year will be December 19th. That will be a big one, hopefully a release of some new stuff. And yeah, so feel free to email me or message me on Facebook. You can also post in the group. Any other questions? You're welcome, Eric. Ed, good to see you. Hope you're feeling better. I'll hang around for a couple minutes in case there's any other questions.